Welcome to John Esser Sports Channel and a quick Championship prediction video. Championship Week 6 predictions. We've done League 1, we've done League 2. Here we are with the Championship. So we go straight in with Borough versus West Brom. Just have a quick look. Here we got Borough in first, West Brom in fifth. And a lot of people here thinking this could actually be quite a tight game. Also, a lot of people thinking maybe not as tight as you think. Not really much of a difference in these two teams. I think Borough scoring the odd one more than West Brom. Last 6 games though, let's have a look. Win, lose, win, draw. The only loss actually 4-0 at home to Doncaster Rovers of all teams. And really, that was like, where's the wheels come off? Where did they disappear? Other than that, they've been really, really strong. And even in the Preston game, the last game there, Preston 2, Borough 2, if you look at the game itself, Borough were well on top of this game, and Preston just seemed to shine. Look, I've said time and time again, I like this Preston side. They have actually started to click for me. They made the most. They actually had only 2 shots on target and 2 in the net. That's what matters, isn't it? The fact that they only had 7 shots in the entire game against Borough's 14 doesn't make any difference. Borough, 3 of those 14 on target and 2 in the net, 2-2. Borough will be very disappointed in this game. 61% possession. Of course, they'll be really dejected over not getting a win. They should really have got that win, but I'll tell you what, Preston absolutely staunch defending there. I think actually, if you actually watch the game, they didn't actually do too badly in defence. They really did cope as best as I thought they could do against such a brilliant Borough side. So, Borough doing well. A time before that, a 1-0 home win to Sheffield United. Really thought that they'd blast more than just one past a lowly 24th position Sheffield United, especially when he wasn't putting the best team out from minute 1. So, yeah, that was a disappointment for me. And then if you go to look at West Brom, West Brom 0, Derby 1 last time out. We will just look at the last 6. Win, draw, win, lose. As I said, the only defeat in that lot is the last game. West Brom 0, Derby 1. And Derby just took them on the break. 1 shot on target, 1 in the net, 1-0 winners. What else do you say? Well, you can say about West Brom, because I think in this case, the stats do actually tell a story. Remember, they don't always tell a story. Stats, statistics, and damn lies. Absolutely 68% possession, though. They really did have a lot of possession. Not sure if it was quite 68%, but it certainly did on the looking at the video, it did look like they had a fair amount of the run of the green and almost 20 shots, but only 4 of those on target and none in the net. They'll have been bitterly disappointed they didn't get away with a draw. So here we've got 2 teams that will be bitterly disappointed that they didn't do better and get more points out of their last game. Both of these teams will want to turn this one round. Both of these teams at the top half, in the top third of the Championship. What are you saying? 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 3-1. Most of you thinking, well, it's going to be quite even because they're both wanting to bounce back from that disappointment. And most of you thinking, well, we're going to sneak it to the home side. I'm probably going to... I'm tempted with a draw, to be quite honest. I think that this could be a 1-1. However, I'm going to go... I think that West Brom will certainly... They only score 1s and 2s. Both of these teams... They have been scoring a lot originally. They have been... they can score 2 or 3. I'm going to go with West Brom 2. Sorry... Borough 2, West Brom 1. I'm changing it as I'm going through. Quickly, let's go on to Birmingham versus Swansea. So, speed up for you all. Birmingham, Swansea. Last 6 games for Birmingham. Win, lose. Just seem to wheels just come off there against Port Vale, Leicester and Stoke. 1-0 defeat, 2-0 defeat, 1-0 defeat. Birmingham just seem to be having a few problems with their fitness and injuries here. There has to be a reason behind it, doesn't there, really? There really has to be. Please do comment down below. Like, subscribe, comment down below, please. Swansea, win, draw, win. And I've been telling you, this side can score. They showed that they could at the beginning. Just before they started, it looked like with all the pre-season, these actually can score, you know. And then they just had a little bit of a blip, and they didn't really start as well as I thought they would do. But they have now started scoring 1s, 2s, 3s. And the last time was a 3-2 win at home against Forest in the Carabao Cup. We're going to actually look at the last league games though. For Birmingham, it was an away defeat. Stoke City 1, Birmingham 0. And Birmingham actually, they came across a defence. I mean, that defence I don't think the goalkeeper actually had he had to have anything to do. Birmingham, 0 shots on target. The defence was really good. This is what I've been worried about last season. The defence and the goalkeeper, I'm afraid, just kept making 1 or 2 really stupid mistakes and nearly giving them a free goal away. This season, they seem to be at the minute really, really solid at the back. Birmingham couldn't get through. They'll be quite disappointed because other than that, they were actually passing slightly better than Stoke City. And Birmingham may be feeling a little bit aggrieved at not getting at least a draw there. Swansea City, though, firing very, very well. Like we said, they won Forest 3-2 at home in the Carabao Cup. Let's forget that one. We're looking at the Championship. Swansea 2, Hull City 2. So how do we look at this one? With a game that realistically you'd expect Swansea at home to run this game and actually rule it. They didn't. They actually managed to lose that lead on 90 plus 7 minutes, and we were watching we were in the watch along looking at it, and it was like, hang on, I'm reading the results, I'm going through the Championship table, and all of a sudden the whole table changes, and it's like, what happened at Swansea? So Swansea, they'll be aggrieved. They played some great football, some great passing football. In fact, it was the best passing performance of the weekend. So believe me, it was a great passing thing to watch, a great thing to watch. But they didn't do anything with it. Only 2 shots on target for Swansea, 6 for Hull City on target. And the Swansea City team that defence wasn't quite as good as what it has been, letting Hull City have 15 shots at target, 6 of them on target. Whilst their attacking force just wasn't quite able to get through and have a clear shot on target anywhere near enough. Although 2 shots on target, 2 in the net is indeed extremely good. So Birmingham, Swansea is 7th, Birmingham in 11th. What are you all saying? Birmingham, Swansea 0-1, 1-1, 2-0, 2-0, 1-1. You made it easy for me. I actually think that Birmingham will turn this round. Swansea just having a couple of little blips recently. Please do like, subscribe. Tell me why Swansea. Why is it I'm thinking that Swansea have had a few blips, because I know you're going to be telling me we haven't lost one in the last 6. I'm just looking at you let 2 in against Forest, you get 2 in against Hull. You could only score 2 against Sheffield Wednesday, and it's just, and only 1 against Sheffield United. It looks great. Win. It's the same story as the Oldham team that I predicted down in League 2. winning, but the defence looked really fragile because they kept letting the team have a shot, the opposition have a shot. And it's the same sort of thing here. Just a little bit worried that even though they haven't been losing, they could quite easily, with a slightly better opposition, suddenly start letting the goals in. So we're going to go with a Birmingham 2, Swansea 0, and we'll move on to the next one, which is Leicester City versus Coventry. So 4th versus 6th, and for Leicester it's a win, draw, lose, win, draw. Yeah, not bad at all. The only defeat there, Preston 2-1 away defeat, and I said Preston can do this, and I think actually that was the point at which I said Preston were going to win 2-1, and I think I know I said they were going to win. I thought 1-0 or 2-1. And I got that score right, and I knew that they were going to be just improving that little bit at that point in time. Wrong team, wrong time. For Coventry, win, lose, draw. A little bit of a blip recently, but after a 7-1 win at home to QPR and a 3-5 win away to Derby County, 12 goals in 2 championship games. Oh my God. They went to a 2-1 defeat to Millwall, 2-2 away draw, and then last time at a 1-1 home draw to Norwich. Leicester City then, Oxford 2, 10-man Leicester 2. Ramsey on 24 minutes getting sent off there, and I think that may be a little bit of a blip, but I don't think it's going to cause too much problem for a team with such a great depth of squad. Leicester City here were certainly expected to run riot, and sorry, it didn't. The game was ran by Oxford. It was controlled very well by Oxford. In fact, the best performance passing wise was indeed Oxford. Leicester was second best everywhere on the pitch, and I think that sort of frustrated the hell out of certain players, and for me it became a little bit too much of a, we didn't expect this. We expected an easy run. They underestimated Oxford. Simple as. Did they deserve a draw, Leicester City? Well, I tell you what, they reduced Oxford to just 2 shots on target out of their 19 total shots. But that's just Oxford. That is just Oxford. On a different day with a different team, this Leicester City team would have got thrashed. But they came away with a draw. It was probably, and I say probably lightheartedly, it was probably the right result, mainly because of the Leicester City defence doing a reasonably good job there. Just not, it wasn't reasonable in that they let Oxford have 19 shots at target, but they were all from far enough away for them not to be able to see the goal direct. So what are you all saying? Oh, Leicester Coventry 1-2, 2-2, 2-3, 3-1, 1-2. I think Coventry can score a hell of a lot of goals. Leicester City have the ability to score goals. Not sure whether they're in this ones and twos and zeros area. I think that they're likely to score 1. I'm gonna go with a different score. I'm gonna go Leicester City 1, Coventry 3, and we'll move on to the next one, which is QPR versus Stoke City. QPR Stoke City. QPR in 12th, Stoke City in 2nd, and Stoke City have been doing really well because that defence has, like I said, been doing really well, such as against the Birmingham side last time out, and also the strike force has been a little bit more consistent as well. QPR then last 6 games, draw, lose, win, with the last win against Wrexham 3-1 away from home, and we'll quickly go into that. Seeing who scored when. They scored first through Cody and scored last through Burrell. So they were in control of this game pretty much all the way through as far as scoring was concerned. However, this certainly was a game of different bits and different parts. Wrexham playing well for a portion, QPR playing well for a portion, and I think on the whole, Wrexham thought they had this game controlled well enough. But when QPR had the ball, they weren't quite as classy on the ball. I think Wrexham was certainly showing that they had the class on the ball. But QPR did more with it and were a little bit more precise with the ball. 8 shots on target for Wrexham, 1 in the net. QPR, 6 shots on target, 3 in the net. It was just a game of who was going to be more clinical. It was end-to-end. It was enjoyable. One team up at one point, the other team up at the other. Passing forms throughout the game was probably, for me, Wrexham just about made it. 3-1 win to QPR. Probably the right result based on the fact that they were just that little bit more clinical for me. Stoke City, Birmingham, we've already been through that, and I think that Stoke City will be probably thinking that although their passing wasn't quite as good as Birmingham's, I think that they certainly deserved that win. So what are you all saying? You're saying it's QPR Stoke 0-0, 2-1, 1-2, 2-0 and 0-1. So you're all over the place. You're really not helping me much at all, are you? The problem here for me is that QPR can ship goals. That 7-1 defeat to Coventry City. And I know that Stoke City's defence has improved. I'm going to go with a boring QPR 1, Stoke City 2, and we'll move on. Now let's continue with Blackburn versus Ipswich. Blackburn lose, win, lose, win. A few people thinking these are going to be in the bottom of the championship. Blackburn 16th, Ipswich 14th. So doing slightly better than what people are actually thinking. And the other thing is, no draws for the Blackburn team, 3 draws for the Ipswich team. So let's see what the Ipswich team are doing. Draw, lose, draw, win. Of course, we've got a Carabao Cup draw there against Bromley. Probably don't count that. Last time out, we've got Blackburn versus Watford. Watford 0, Blackburn 1. And Blackburn really here showing that they could be a little bit more clinical than the Watford side, which is actually quite strange because Watford have been really, really good. They've been actually quite clinical and I've enjoyed watching them. But in this game, Blackburn just about took this game, just about took it over Watford. Other than that, it was actually quite even. Style, pretty balanced between the pair of them. The passing, pretty consistent between the pair. Not too much difference there. The only thing I would say is that Blackburn just happened to get into a shooting position where they could get on target more often than Watford and were just a little bit more clinical with their finishing on the day, remember, because Watford can do a lot better than that. Ipswich took apart Sheffield United, didn't they, in their last game. Ipswich 5, Sheffield United 0. This could have been 6 or 7, it really could have. Sheffield United, they actually had 2 shots on target in this game, which doubles their amount of shots on target in the entire season. Ipswich 11 shots on target and 5 goals, 21 shots at target. They did allow Sheffield United into that final third a little bit more often than I thought they would do. And Sheffield United weren't completely out of this. In fact, they were really good at passing. Their passing was actually better than Ipswich's, if you believe it. If you actually watch the game, they were actually a little bit more clinical with their passing. Although it was short, it was very sweet and very precise. So very impressed by what that team could do and still not get any goals. that's what the two teams did last time. What are you thinking for Blackburn versus Ipswich then? 1-2, 0-2, 1-3, 0-2, 1-3. You're all thinking it's going to those last two wins out of 3 for Blackburn were just blips. The other one was Hull City for Blackburn, so I'd probably expect them to get some sort of win there, because they probably, I expected a narrow victory. It was actually 3-0 to Blackburn. So I'm thinking that we might, I'm going to have to go along with you lot, but will Blackburn score is my issue. They don't always. I'm going to go with the majority of you. I'm going to go Blackburn 0, Ipswich 2, and I was thinking of that Blackburn might win this one 2-1, but I'm going to go with an Ipswich win, and we'll go quickly on to Derby versus Preston. So Derby County versus Preston North End. And in the table we have Preston in 8th and Derby County in 19th. Derby County draw, lose, draw, win. Draw, lose, draw, lose, draw, win. And the last time out, that win against West Brom, which we'll look at in a minute. Preston North End, win, 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 lose, lose, draw. And again, there they managed to get that draw. We've looked at it already. Preston doing really well to get that draw, but they were good for that draw. I think that Preston Borough game just showed how clinical that Preston side could be, and with fewer shots at target, they could still make that extra precision count there. So how about that West Brom game? West Brom, Derby County. I think Derby County here, one shot in the entire game on target for Derby County. Not really the side that we expected them to be. They've got a really good strike force up front, really impressed with it, but 4 shots at target, probably because West Brom in this game were really putting up a strong defence. So let's look at the game before that. The Portsmouth 1, Preston 0, and we can see that Preston here had 13 shots but only 2 on target. This Preston side has been really good. Let's not make no bones about it. 3 wins in a row. Barrow, Leicester City and Ipswich show that they can actually do this and do it well. I was a little... Look, the 3-2 defeat at home to Wrexham I thought was a shocker. And they just seem to have had a few injuries, a few niggles in that camp, and it seems to have made a big difference. And for that reason, I think that for me, this Derby Preston game may just be a little bit more even, or even manage to push me towards a Derby County win. What are you saying? 2-1, 2-2, 1-1, 1-1, 2-0. You've made it nice and easy for me. I think you're probably right. I think that Preston will continue to be a little bit poor for a while until they got everything back to normal again. Probably about 3 or 4 weeks till that. Usually, injuries and getting back into form tends to take about 6 weeks. So it tends to ride waves, don't we? I'm going to go with Derby County 1, Preston 1, and we go to the next game, which is Hull versus Southampton. Hull City doing a lot better than what we thought in 20th position, and Southampton a lot worse than what we thought in 15th. And of course, Hull City last time out, a nice 2-2 draw there against Swansea City, and you know, Hull City here, the away side, you would expect Swansea to control it. They usually do at home, and their strike force is usually brilliant, and that defence is usually quite solid. Here they let Hull City have a little bit too much roaming experience in the final third. Hull City getting forward quite a lot, and nearly half of their shots were actually on target. So I think if anything, Hull City will be quite aggrieved at only coming away with a 2-2 draw. The other game, Southampton, of course, Southampton played their arch rivals, or even worse than that because I live in the middle of the two of them. Southampton 0, Portsmouth 0. This was a very, very boring game, wasn't it? One shot each on target. Yes, one shot each on target, and very few other shots that were any realistically could be called shots. Portsmouth had the majority of the pressure for me. They really were. They were more often than not in Southampton's face, right up there. You have to look at the Southampton side. They had 60% possession, and they made more passes, 437 against 293. But it was always in their own half, and for me, they just stuck in that half, keeping it to themselves quite far too often. Portsmouth here, I mean, just those little runs that were quite exciting, occasionally, very occasionally, and Portsmouth should really, I think, have won this one. There were one off the bar and one where he missed from about 2 foot out. Really, one of those two should have gone in. And for me, the Portsmouth fans will be the ones going away feeling a little bit dejected there. What are you all saying? Hull versus Southampton, 1-1, 2-2, 0-1, 1-1, 2-3. I think this Hull City side are consistently scoring 2 or 3. Consistently scoring 2 or 3. I'm thinking that can Southampton keep up with them? I'm going to go with Hull City 2, Southampton 2. They may lose it. It may be a Hull City win, but I'm going to go on the fence there, and we're going to go to Norwich versus Wrexham. And Norwich City are in 10th. Wrexham are in 21st. Norwich City win, lose, win, draw. They're actually playing a lot better than what I expected them to do. They're getting better results than what I expected them to do. Coventry City last time out, a 1-1 draw. I would not have thought they would have got a point there. And Coventry City will be aggrieved that they only came away with a draw. A 64% possession to Coventry, 28 shots, only 4 on target though, and 1 in the net. Norwich City, 1 on target, 1 in the net, 1-1. It's just the ability to turn 4 shots in total to 1 on target and 1 in the net for Norwich. In fact, they took the lead on 17. Coventry had to wait till 90 plus 6 to get their 28 shots to pull off into a goal. Coventry will be more than gutted at only getting a draw at home. Wrexham, though, draw, lose, draw, win, lose, win against Preston 3-2 away, win against away to Millwall, which was an outstanding performance there. But last time out, it was Wrexham 1, QPR 3. QPR having some really good games, and here was just one of them. QPR did indeed play some really good football, but Wrexham's passing is brilliant. And I've seen this that both of those teams that did well coming up from League One, Birmingham and Wrexham, are both they seem to have got in players that can pass astonishingly well. And I mean astonishingly well. This Wrexham team can actually pass extremely well. Last season, their backline tended to make a few passing mistakes, and that's where they were losing goals. This season, that seems to have been plugged up, and it's not from passing mistakes that they tend to lose their goals as much as what it was last season. Wrexham, though, 21 shots, 8 on target, 1 in the net. You know, they've really got to be converting more. They've got to be a little bit more precise if they want to be sort of even mid-table. They did have 61% possession because they had really good passing, but it tended to be in their own half. And what are you then thinking? Because obviously we've got Norwich there doing really well, a lot better than what we thought against a Wrexham side that just seemed to be faltering. Only 2-2 against Sheffield Wednesday, for instance, and They don't seem to be able to break down the defence quite and be quite as clinical on goal as what they should be, as what they need to be. More on target, more in the net as a percentage of the wayward shots. What are you saying? Norwich Wrexham 2-1, 3-2, 3-0, 1-2 and 3-1. I think that this Wrexham side can score. I think they can certainly have the passing to get them into the final third. And I think against Norwich they'll probably have a good chance. So I think that this Wrexham side will score. To me, it's a case of will Norwich score, and I think that I'll just about give it to Norwich, being at home. Not totally sure that they'll get any more than 2. We'll go with Norwich 2, Wrexham 1, and we move on to my local side, Portsmouth versus Sheffield Wednesday. Now, we will have a look at the table. We've got Portsmouth in 9th against Sheffield Wednesday in 23rd. Who's betting on this being a game where Sheffield Wednesday end up bottom of the league? Let's see. Portsmouth, we have win, lose, draw, win, draw. Of course, last time, let's look to 2 defeats. Reading at home 2-1 and Norwich at home 2-1. So it's not a case that Portsmouth are better at home. So, and it has been up till about those 2 games. They've been doing really well at home, including last season, but not recently. So Southampton, Portsmouth 0-0. Like I say, Southampton they both nullified each other out, didn't they? Southampton and Portsmouth, one shot on target each. Southampton slightly better passing, although Portsmouth wasn't particularly bad. One against the bar for Portsmouth, one miss from 2 foot out. How the hell did they do that? That's about all we can say for Portsmouth. They tend to be a little bit up, a little bit down, but they are a sort of good mid-table team. Sheffield Wednesday lose, draw, lose. The draw against Leeds 2-2 was quite good, and I enjoyed that one. And surprisingly, they came to a draw after 90 minutes. The last game for them was Grimsby, 1-0 defeat in the cup. And realistically, Grimsby just ran that one, didn't they? Last league game was Sheffield United 0, Bristol City 3, and to be quite honest, that could have been a lot more. Wednesday had 0 shots on target. Bristol City had 4 on target, 3 in the net, and they just didn't seem to be getting into that final third. I must admit, Wednesday did manage to keep them out of their half or the final third quite a lot of the time. Only 9 times only 9 shots for Bristol City. And I think that was more because of the Wednesday plugging that back third and trying to park the bus as it was anything else. So what are you saying? 2-0, 3-1, 4-0, 5-0, 4-0. I'm actually going to go with Portsmouth 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0. And being a Rotherham fan, that surprises me, doesn't it? Not. Next game is Sheffield United versus Charlton. And Charlton, what a time to be playing the bottom of the league when they've just changed manager. New manager bounce? Well, this team hasn't been playing well together. They're down in the dumps. Last 6 games, lose. Oh my God. Last time out, 5-0 defeat. A thrashing by Ipswich Town. Ipswich 5, Sheffield United 0. Sheffield United here not on the board. 2 shots, which doubles their total number of shots for the entire season so far. And they just don't seem to be able to go out. The passing is good. They keep it in their own half very well. But when they try and get across that halfway line, bang, they lose it and it comes straight back again. Look, they have got some good players. They didn't start with 2 of their best players against Ipswich. They kept them on the bench for some strange, unknown reason. I'm sure that this time we'll not see mistakes like that, but will they be able to play together well, seeing as for the last 6 games, certainly they've not been putting the best team out. Charlton Athletic then were the other side, and Charlton Athletic win, draw, lose, draw. And they also have a Charlton. Ramsey sent off on 74 minutes here, so they're going to be light as well as being against a side with a new manager bounce. The Charlton Millwall game, I think Millwall realistically, it was a draw. Absolutely, and it should have been a draw. I think even though Millwall had the most of the ball and played a hell of a lot better passing game, I think that realistically, when Millwall had the ball and were passing it around, they weren't really dangerous. We have to look at the amount of shots on target. I think that's the only stat we can really look at here. 3 on target for Charlton, 3 on target for Millwall. That was a fair result. So what are we going to say for Sheffield United versus Charlton? 1-0, 1-1, 3-0, 0-0 and 2-0. I can actually see everybody's thoughts here. I can see what you're thinking. Will he get a bounce first time out? I don't think he will. I think it's going to be Sheffield United 1, Charlton 1, and we'll still be seeing. Will that still put them on the bottom of the league? Yeah. It will on goal difference. They'll still be on unless 9, 10, 11. No, it may take them off the bottom of the league if Sheffield Wednesday get thrashed. So my results would have Sheffield Wednesday on bottom, Sheffield United in second from bottom. Next, it's Bristol City versus Oxford, and we've obviously looked at these before, so we can sort of keep on with these games. Bristol City, Oxford. This is on a Sunday. Bristol City are in third, Oxford are in 22nd, and this has to be a standard game, doesn't it? We know what the result's going to be here, surely. Bristol City win, draw, lose, win. The only loss here was in the Carabao Cup, 2-0 away against Fulham, so we can't really count that. So the last 5 games win. Well, that's Carabao Cup as well, we can't count that. Draw, win. They're the only ones we've got in front of us in that time. So we can only really count that. The other 2, the defeat and the win, were against MK Dons and Fulham in the Carabao Cup. Oxford United win, lose, draw. And one of those defeats is 6-0 to Brighton in the Cup, so you can't count that as well. So that's a win, lose, draw. So they're not now they're not getting completely whitewashed. I will say that Oxford are not getting completely whitewashed. Bristol City, though, aren't doing that massively brilliant job that they can do, and we know they could do. 2 games, 2 wins. Win against Hull City 4-2 at home, and in that one they were really good. However, they let Hull City in slightly too much for me. They played better, they passed better, they had more shots. They had less shots on target than Hull City, and Hull City still got 20 shots laid off at target. So perhaps that was something that they had to think about in this Sheffield Wednesday game. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Bristol City 3. However, they stopped Sheffield Wednesday from getting any shots on target, and even though possession was 50-50, the passing was about even. It wasn't an even game in the end because Bristol City were the only ones to get shots on target, 4 of them, 3 in the net, so they were more clinical in this one. I don't think realistically the defensive frailties made any difference at all. Why? Because, well, they were never in that Wednesday were never in that half in the first place. So it's a difficult one to work out whether that defence is just suffering from injuries or fatigue, or whether we've got people out there from Bristol City thinking I'm talking a load of rubbish. Please do like and subscribe and comment down below. I'd love to hear what, even if you think I'm talking rubbish, Bristol City fans, come say it down below. I don't mind. I'm up for a bit of a comment and a bit of a listen, as long as it's not abusive. Oxford City then 2-2 at home, and Leicester City had Ramsey, like I said earlier, sent off on 24 minutes. Didn't really make much difference here, and I must say that I think that Oxford stood their ground really, really well. And I really thought that they might just squeeze a win here, but they didn't quite do it. And you know something, I think Oxford deserved a win. They absolutely deserved a win. 19 shots against 8 shots for Leicester City. But only 2 of them went on target against 5 on target for Leicester. And actually, you know, this was probably the second best passing performance by Oxford of the entire weekend. This was the second best performance passing wise by any of the teams in the Championship. Well done, Oxford. You really will be going home. You really, really, really gutted at that one. But yeah, Bristol City equally can they can just let people in like they did against Hull, and you think, I just wonder if Oxford are good enough to be able to make advantage of it. Not quite sure they will. Look, there's goals in this game both ways. I think that certainly both of these teams can score against each other because of their where they are good and where they are not so good. Bristol City Oxford 2-1, 3-1, 2-2, 4-0 and 3-1. I can't see 4-0 in this one. I think if Bristol City scored 4, then Oxford would almost certainly score 1 or 2. I can see this being a 2-1 win to Oxford. I can see it 2-1 win either way. I'm going to go Bristol City 2, Oxford 1, but this could be one of those circular ones, which goes either direction. We go to our last game now, Millwall versus Watford. Do stay on and watch for this, and we'll have a look at Millwall versus Watford. This is our Monday game. So Millwall in 13th, Watford in 17th. Let's see if there's anything we need to know about. No, it's pretty even really. Watford won 1, drawn 2, lost 2. So drawn 2, and those were in the last 2 games as well. So yeah, Millwall lose, win. Crikey, went wrong one there. Millwall lose, win, lose, draw. Watford lose, win, draw, lose. So those are 2 draws they've got been in the last 3 games against Swansea 1-1, Southampton 2-2. And they'll be expecting a really tough game against Swansea away, because they have got a good front end. They can score. Kept them down to 1-1 as well, Watford. Southampton 2-2, coming down from the Premier League. They'll have been expecting a really classy, tough game there, and they did get it, but they came away really well with a 2-2 draw, and then Blackburn 1-0 defeat at home. We'll go to the Palace. No, Palace 1, Millwall 1, and I tell you what, Millwall did really well in that game, but we're not going to go to that. We're going to go to the Charlton 10-man Charlton 1, Millwall 1. Millwall getting the equaliser on 88 minutes, and Millwall here pretty even, absolutely stonkingly even. The only one difference in this game was that when Millwall had the ball in their own box, they were passing it around quite happily without anybody trying to get it off them. They made use of the space, which is not something that an ex-League One side usually does. So it doesn't usually let you have the space. Charlton seemingly trying to play a Championship-style football, which they're doing pretty well, I must admit. 1-1, probably about even, but I think Millwall here will be slightly aggrieved they didn't get something from it. 3 shots each on target. Watford, like I say, that 1 defeat in the last 4 coming the last time out. Watford 0, Blackburn 1, 47 minutes for Morishita. and actually I think that Watford just couldn't get past that Blackburn back defence. One shot on target for Watford in the entire game, none in the net. 5 shots on target from Blackburn. They're very creative, Blackburn. I've enjoyed their creativity. Didn't think that they'd be able to show it. I actually thought Blackburn Rovers last season were quite bland. They got the run of the ball, they got the run of the decisions, and then they had a section where they didn't, and then it went back to getting the run of the ball again, run of the green. This season they do actually seem to be playing a good standard of football, and everything seems to be on the whole fair. And sometimes they get the run of the green, sometimes they don't. It's a difficult one. I think that game really probably was Blackburn's chance to win it. 5 shots on target, 1 in the net. They'll have been quite disappointed, seeing as they started last season so well, and could get the goals. I think that it's going to be a tough game, this one. Millwall versus Watford. What are you saying? 2-2, 1-0, 2-0, 2-0. 1-0. So basically all going for a Millwall home win, with Watford once again just having to put up with another defeat, 2 in a row. Will they? I like the Watford side. It's not as dull and boring as it has been, but they just don't seem to have the bite that I thought they might have. But whether that's because they played Swansea and Southampton, I know they've got a good front end, and they know that as well. I don't know. Do comment down below. 2-2, 1-0, 2-0, 2-0, 1-0, and I do think that that Millwall will want to make the most of this. Neither of these teams have had a win in their last 3 games. I think we're just sneaking a home win. It could be 1-0 either direction. We'll go with Millwall 1, Watford 0. Thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the live stream on Saturday.